Hi everyone, I'm Mike Abadi and welcome to VTblogosphereTV. We're up to our 23rd episode and we are just on a good roll. We are lucky, thrilled, and happy to welcome Deb Markowitz here to our show. Thanks for getting here. And Deb is our Secretary of State, and she's been our Secretary of State since 1998. That's 12 years. I didn't realize you'd been doing that for that long.
That's right, and we were talking earlier about how this is my first office I've ever held, and in fact, before I ran for Secretary of State, I'd never been involved in politics. I'm not your traditional politician. I'd been working part-time and actually needed a full-time job.
Okay.
And thought the Secretary of State's office wasn't doing a great job and thought maybe I'd go work for the Secretary of State at the time, and found that there were problems in the office, and I decided to run against him, having never run for anything at all.
Okay.
And beat him, beat a two-term incumbent.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Congrats on that, and
Well,
continued
thanks.
success
Thanks.
for every 2 years you got
Every
it, right?
2 years.
So you now want to be our governor,
That's right.
and I'm wondering about how you're looking at using the internet, and I noticed that you have posted on Green Mountain Daily, as have the other candidates, but I believe you're the only candidate to post on Daily Coast, which is a more of a national blog, and I'm just wondering how that experience was. Is it a different world from Green Mountain Daily, or probably many more eyeballs on?
Many more eyeballs. You know, my experience as Secretary of State actually is that the use of new media is a really great way to reach folks in the grassroots. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of activists out there, there are a lot of people interested in particular issues and topics, and blogs, Facebook pages, Twitter, the whole gamut are great ways to reach out. And you know, posting in the national blog is one way. You know, we want national attention for this race. I believe I can beat Brian Doobie and take back this governor's seat for the Democrats.
Right.
And Democrats all around the country care about that. We've had a year, you know, we're anticipating a year of losses, and folks are looking for campaigns that offer hope for a success. And you know, I've won every town in Vermont. I've won 6 statewide races. I've beaten an incumbent to get started. The polls are showing that of all the candidates, I'm in the best position to beat Brian Doobie. In fact, I'm the only one who outpolls him, at least in the CAX poll, and everyone comes, you know, is pretty far behind. So we want folks to know out beyond Vermont about what we're trying to do here.
Great. Do you also have an Emily's List endorsement, which is national?
I have an Emily's List endorsement that's national. I've also been endorsed by Equality Giving, which is a group, an online giving group that gives to folks who are friendly to gay and lesbian issues. I actually have 3 lesbian sisters, and so I'm very connected with some of the national organizations that care about equality for all of our citizens.
Great.
And yeah, it's been pretty exciting. I also have Women's Campaign Forum endorsement as well.
Nice. I believe one of the first posts you had on Green Mountain Daily was also a way of using online media. You had a petition to shut down Vermont Yankee before the vote,
right.
I believe.
That's right.
Months before the vote. So I'm wondering how you thought to do that, because it was a really good way to capture the energy of the movement towards getting that plant shut down.
Well, early on, I think it was even before the tritium leak, I felt strongly that Vermont Yankee's not safe, and safety first. And in the legislature, they're all talking about whether the offer was going to be good enough, and whether, you know, we're going to have enough for decommissioning and so forth. And it seemed to me that it didn't really matter what the offer was, what the contract, you know, price was for power, if the plant is fundamentally not safe.
The details don't matter
and
so much,
so we came out early and said a couple things. One is that we've got to shut down Vermont Yankee, and we've got to make the decision soon, because we've got to plan for it. You know, I pay the bills in my family, so I know that costs count. So we need to be able to plan ahead so that we've got low cost or reasonably cost energy, so we don't hurt families or businesses. And we also have got to be able to plan for those employees, because there will be hundreds of employees who lose their jobs. And if we don't plan in advance, it's going to be a problem. But if we plan, we can help make a responsible transition.
Sure.
So we decided to use the internet to get out this petition, and it wasn't just Green Mountain Daily, it was also through, we've got thousands of people who signed up for our email blasts, and so we sent it out to our email list, and folks then sent it to their email list, and we got hundreds of signatures on this petition. It's also a way to help people get involved. What we found in this campaign is there's hundreds of Vermonters who've signed up to volunteer in our campaign, and in fact, well, more than that, probably over 1,000. And we've had, even just this week, we had a big volunteer effort. We had over, I think 150 hours of volunteer time in our office. People want to help. They want to get involved. It's still really early. Right. We don't need people to march in parades yet, where there's only so many stamps to lick,
sure.
And actually it's now sticky, but you know what I mean.
That's right.
And so this gives folks a way to actually get involved and do something. People don't like being talked at all the time. They want to be part of it. And this online petition really worked for us.
Great. How would you like to share your website a little bit? What's there when people visit? And,
absolutely. Well, website is debforvermont.com. I guess you see it behind us. And we've done a lot with YouTube. We find that we get a really good response. People are tired of reading lengthy position papers, and they really want to see you. When people are voting for somebody who's going to be the leader of their state, they want to get a feel for what you look like, how you talk, how do you interact with people, what do you care about.
Right.
And so if you go to our website, you'll see a whole bunch of different YouTube videos. Some are about press events we've had. There's one about a kickoff. There's one that's more biographical, where you can see my family and learn a little bit about what I've accomplished as Secretary of State. There's a section where we've got all of our press releases, and a section where we've got news coverage on the race. And then we have a whole area that talk about issues that I care about, where I stand on issues ranging from health care to education to how we're going to support our elderly citizens.
Okay, great. I am asking each of the candidates if they could pledge not to engage in any anonymous internet tactics, because well, I guess the 06 Tarrant Senate race is kind of the negative example of how I think of Vermonters like to see their campaigns run, is
right.
a way to put it.
Although, I'll tell you, what that does show is there is no such thing as anonymous internet
because
posting.
Peter Freen did the work and traced. Yeah.
Right, of course, it's all traceable. So of course not, because there is no anonymous, posting. And I actually have had a talk with my teenagers, because that's where, you get kids who are really interested and involved, and I've told them that the most important thing from our family is graciousness. All the people running in this campaign, even Brian Doobie, are really good people. We disagree on issues, especially with Brian Doobie. We're very philosophically different, but he's got a family that loves him. He loves them, and the folks in the primary race are all people I've known for years and have great respect for. And I'm going to win because I'm the best candidate for the job at the time. I bring a skill set that I think Vermont needs right now. I'm the only one who's actually run government in Vermont and managed a budget and done more with less, made cuts. Those are difficult decisions to make. I've worked with every town in Vermont, and I know that in order for us to get jobs and jumpstart the economy, we're going to have to change the way we do business in Montpelier. I've done it with my office. I can do it with the rest of state government. That's how I'm going to win.
Okay.